you are going up against the book Allies by Alan Gratz in the 2025 Book March Madness competition. And this is a really tough matchup. So, both books are really powerful historical fiction, and both are set during World War II, and both are just so good. They're extraordinary books. Hi, I'm Connie, Book Nook Librarian. Thanks for joining me. Welcome or welcome back. I have a new subscriber. Really, I'm still looking for that opportunity to find a trampoline so that when I get a subscriber, I can jump up and down on it in slow-mo. So thank you for subscribing. I will get there with my trampoline soon, I hope. This is my third video in a series for Book March Madness 2025. And the data for these matchups is actually not something that I've made up, although I guess I could if I wanted to, but I didn't make this up. It comes from data, from the circulation data from my old school. And so I just am kind of helping out because these books are so great, and well, I graduated, but the madness continues. So I'm giving my 2 cents because, why not? It's really fun for me to do that and to kind of weigh in. So today's matchup is none other than The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley and Allies by Alan Gratz. It's a tough one. Who should you pick between these two books? It really depends on the reader. If you love a fast-paced, action-packed war story, well then Allies might have the edge for you on your bracket, but The War That Saved My Life has a really deeper character development and emotional growth. So if you prefer that in your story, well then The War That Saved My Life would definitely have the edge. I really love having the book to talk about, to hold up, but I don't have it. And so I'm just going to have to use the picture here. One character in particular, D. And D is short for Diedrich. And his name is Diedrich Zimmerman. And he lied about his age in order to join the army. He's from Philadelphia. He has really conflicted feelings about his German heritage. He's worried that if his, what will happen when his friends find out that he's German. And he hides his German heritage from his very best friend who is Jewish. The stage is set. D is a really interesting character to follow. But again, like most of Alan Gratz's books, you have a multi-perspective story told from multiple characters about what it's really like to be, there, to be a soldier. So in this book, you have, the setting is England, and it's World War II, it's early World War II, and Ada is a 10-year-old girl with a club foot, and she has never been allowed to leave her home due to this really abusive, just awful mother, who's called Ma'am in the book. Ultimately, when children are evacuated from London during the Blitz, Ada sneaks away with her younger brother, Jamie, and they end up in the countryside in an area I think it's Kent. There's a lot of themes in this book about resilience, about found family, personal growth and self-worth, and most of the readers that I talk to about both of these, frankly, are I can't put it down. I couldn't put it down. I had to finish it in one sitting. Another thing about Ada's mom is she could have had Ada's club foot corrected, but she didn't. And so there's a lot of shame and embarrassment around the mom's actions. I think that's why she's so abusive, but I don't know, I'm not a therapist. What do I know about this? But, that element is really interesting. So yeah, the character development, the deep kind of character dive with this book is really profound. I decided in this particular book video to imagine what one of the characters would say about the other, book. What would Dee say about it? So I think Dee would say, war isn't just about soldiers, it affects everyone, even kids like Ada. The War That Saved My Life shows a side of war that we don't always think about. what it's like to be left behind fighting battles at home. Ada's courage and determination remind me why we fight in the first place, so people can have freedom and a better life. If you want a story about resilience, this one is definitely worth reading. What would she say about allies? If you want to understand the war beyond just what happens at home, you should read Allies. I've seen how war changes lives, but this book shows what it's like to be in the middle of the fight. The people in Allies are brave, just like the pilots and soldiers I admire. And it proves that war isn't just about one person. It takes many people from different places all working together to make a difference. Now, she would probably say it with a British accent, but I don't feel like, we've been together long enough for me to break out my British accent. I just don't, I'm not feeling it quite yet. But, maybe in the future I will. I think that both Alan Gratz and Kimberly Brubaker Bradley would want to call a truce. And they would want you to read both of these books because they're both so good. Now, in the competition, you have to choose, right? So if you know one of these books or you know someone who's read, one or the other, and they see a path through on the brackets, then I would maybe take their advice. For me, it would be really hard. I could not, I really have a hard time choosing. It would maybe come down to the covers. Like it would really be like kind of how you do in basketball March Madness and you say, which uniform do I like best? I like the cover, but that's like the only thing that would separate it. So that's how close the competition could be between these two just slam dunk historical fiction books. What about you? What experience do you have with one or the other? And which one would you vote for? And I'm sure you can see it's just as hard to come to a conclusion because they are both so good. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Book Nook Librarian. Again, I'm Connie. I would love it if you'd click like and subscribe. That would just make my day and get me jumps closer to getting my trampoline. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep reading.